Today, we follow Soldier Mc Servingtons' journey as he joins the Vlandian army as a simple footman. Will he be able to achieve his dream of becoming a cavalry commander for the Vlandian army? First off, he needs to look like a true Vlandian. And he starts off with all the potential skills a commander could possibly want. Shedding all of his worldly possessions, Soldier embarks on his journey to join the army of Vlandia. It took Soldier 5 days of walking to reach Vlandia, where he tried to find none other than King Durthard himself. After all, the king would surely have the best army in the land, right? Despite Soldier's best efforts, locating Durthard proved to be quite challenging, taking several more days before he finally caught sight of the king at Vlandian's castle. Unfortunately, Durthard was sieging the castle and Soldier had no choice but to wait until the siege was over. Finally, after the siege was lifted, Durthard welcomed Soldier into his ranks without hesitation, despite his unconventional appearance. Soldier's journey towards becoming a commander had just begun, and he was well aware that he had a lot to prove. Starting out as a lowly foot soldier earning a meager wage of 2 dinars per day, he felt that he had to work hard to achieve his goals. I rode with the army for a while, but since they were not at war, there wasn't much action to speak of. However, after a few days, tensions escalated as the Sturgians declared war on Vlandia. After picking the nimble steed skill in horse riding, which gave increased maneuvering and horseback, it was time for the first battle for the Vlandians, which was the siege of Flintal Castle. Unfortunately, Soldier's inexperience and lack of training became evident during the siege as he perished soon after climbing the ladders to the enemy walls. Well, at least I made 8 dinars a day now. The next target was Vlandian Castle, a key strategic location for the Sturgians. But their plans were soon disrupted by Ragnvad, the Sturgian king, who launched a surprise attack with an army that was nearly twice the size of ours. Soldier with little armor to protect him was amongst the first to fall. The ensuing battle was a disaster for Soldier and the Vlandians, as their forces were quickly overwhelmed by Ragnvad's superior army. Alone and vulnerable, I only had a handful of coins left after the Vlandian army's crushing defeat. Faced with the prospect of being robbed by bandits or freezing to death in the cold, I made a difficult choice: to betray my country and join Ragnvad's army.
You what?
It was a gut-wrenching decision, but one that had to be made for the sake of survival. But I felt it. I was a traitor. I spent some time with the Sturgians, traveling around and learning the athletic skill morning exercise to improve my movement speed. While there wasn't much action. I was content. I lived. I got paid. We fought a group of mercenaries from Britannia, and Soldier was down very early once again. After the fight, I could level up polearms though, and picked the pikeman skill. Not long after, the Britannians crossed our paths once again, and this time it was a bigger fight. I fought alongside the infantry, but my overconfidence led to a quick demise. Despite my early death, we emerged victorious, and my journey continued. After about a day of traveling, Ragnvad approached me and offered me a promotion to rank 2. Though it wasn't really significant, we could now get some better armor from the blacksmith. I felt relieved to have better protection, but I still felt like an outsider amongst the Sturgians. Not long after, the Sturgians clashed with my own people, the Vlandians. Thanks to my new armor, I was able to hold my own on the front lines for a bit longer. But fighting against my own kin left a bitter taste in my mouth. And with every Vlandian I struck down, I couldn't help but see the faces of my fellow countrymen. Though we emerged victorious, the battle took a toll on Soldier, leaving him feeling empty inside. Our triumph was short-lived though, as the Vlandian army sought revenge, attacking us with a force far greater than our own. Soldier's head was spinning as he fought against his own countrymen. He was eventually struck down and the battle was lost. However, Soldier knew what he had to do. Summoning all his courage, Soldier approached Belgier, a Vlandian lord, and asked him if he could join his ranks. And to his surprise, Belgier forgave him and offered him a second chance. After traveling with the Vlandians for some time, it felt so good to be back amongst my own people. We made a stop at Oxhall, where I decided to participate in a tournament. The first few matches were a breeze, but the last 2 matches were pretty hard. The lance was far too long for me, but I still managed to win. It made me a good coin. I now had 1500 dinars. And I had a wage of 28, so it was slowly going up. After the tournaments, I picked some more skills. For athletics, I picked form-fitting armor, decreasing armor weight. For one-handed, I picked the handling one. And for two-handed, I picked strong grip, also for better handling. With not a lot to do in the army, due to the lack of war, Soldier and his friends spent their time traveling around the countryside to eliminate bandits. While resting at Oxhall, a carpenter named Alion approached Soldier and asked for help. Upon arriving in the alley, I discovered that I was the only one willing to take on the thugs. First I panicked, but I quickly realized that they weren't that smart, and I could just stab them to the face and kite them. Thanks, RBM. After that little adventure, I was promoted to the second rank in the Vlandian army by Belgier. I quickly went out to the smith and picked up my new gear, eager for more adventure. The desire to become a commander once more was rekindled within Soldier, a feeling that he had lost during his time with the Sturgians. Traveling with the Vlandians, Soldier fought more and more battles. He felt at home in their presence and with their weaponry. And Belgier, the big boss, was also pretty fond of him too. Soldier participated in all possible war activities. Soldier's specialization in spear-to-head combat proved significant over time and proved to be a very successful tactic. Just look at him stabbing all these heads. But Soldier had enough of being a simple infantryman. He got himself a horse and was promoted to the cavalry ranks. This was huge for Soldier because he, as no other, knew that the Vlandian cavalry were known as the elite cavalry in Calradia. Promotion to the cavalry ranks made Soldier's success snowball like never before. He seemed to be born to be a cavalryman, with his spear and horse working in perfect harmony to allow him to kill with incredible speed. This made him climb the ranks in the army even faster. Within no time, he got to rank 3 and was able to acquire even better gear and a slightly longer spear. And then, after just a few more battles, rank 4. It was just so freaking fast. With the armor he could wield now, the enemy could barely damage him. All he did was fight in the war with his friends, poking around the enemy lines. It was so satisfying just to make all of those kills. Just look at it. It's just so fun. And the armor was just so strong. It wasn't so long ago that I kept dying all the time, and now I was just riding around and stabbing everyone to the head. A while later, there was a fierce battle in the woods against the Empire that could have gone either way. But Soldier was at the top of his game. He stabbed, and he stabbed like never stabbing before. He fought with all of his might and managed to rack an incredible 61 kills. 61 kills! Just imagine one guy killing 61 other guys. It came as no surprise that after the battle, Soldier got ranked up to 5. This gave him the best armor possible. He looks like a freaking beast in it. But most of all, he now only had one more rank to go to become a commander for Belgier and fulfilling his dream. New armor made him truly unstoppable, a true tank on the battlefield. Any attack would just let 1 or 2 damage through. He was truly a one-man army now. And then it happened just one fight later. Belgier promoted me to rank 6. He offered me to freely leave the army and keep everything, but I had nowhere else to go. The soldier's life truly is the life for me. I took the 25k he offered me and rejoined the army as a true commander of the cavalry units. Soldier did it. He lived the dream, going from a simple footman to a heavily geared and even more so skilled cavalry commander. What an inspiring tale this was, and it was a ton of fun to play. Well, thanks for watching guys, and see you next time.